Hello and welcome to Knights of Blackwater. I am Ben, and today we have the first round from the Aldershot Regional. I had hoped to stream this, but unfortunately the internet on the day let me down and I could not bring it to you via stream, so here we are with the games recorded. We have George on the left with that very beautiful UK meta playmat done by Rebecca Gillard from the White Walkers channel, with 48 faces from the UK meta. He's using a pillage deck from Lanni Greyjoy, which was given to him by Gabby, who part of what is called the Older Swap, where they swap decks with each other. And I need to apologise, I can't remember his opponent is. I know he's Darren Hazelton's friend, and he is playing Night's Watch Summer, and yes, that is the Builder's deck. So George sets up Tywin, new Tywin with a bodyguard, the Burned Men, and a Rose Road, and up against him you have the Wall, the Stone Mason, or Mason of Mason. I can't remember which Mason. Mason of Castle Black. That's it, and a Swarm Brother. Just while they draw up and look up plots, I'd like to say. That's a big shout out to Rebecca. So if you, she did the challenge. She made that playmat herself, as it did the art, and it has every single person. So you signed up for it, and there's a challenge, and if you can play everyone else on that playmat, so you get a free art done by Rebecca. So we have time of plenty into Carmen of Westeros, and I believe Carmen of Westeros picked military. And I believe George is going first with the Greyjoy. This is Dario. Sorry Dario, if you are watching. He's probably tough to play Matt, an L5R player, and looking forward to the new pack. So Tywin gets a dupe. I'd also like to apologise, the sound quality isn't great on my end. I accidentally left my my microphone at the store, and so I'm currently using my backup microphone. It's not quite as good. A King's Road is played out and then popped immediately to bring out Victarion. Now we have a Lordsport Shipwright. And for those who aren't aware, obviously the newer Tywin, he is, whenever you would discard a card from the top of the deck, you look at 2 cards and choose which one to discard, put the other one back on top of the deck. So when you've got Sir Gregor out, or other things that trigger off certain discard abilities, he is pretty good. I do wish it was a Greyjoy card though. So this is George got a Treachery in hand, or he's going to trick you. Is that Treachery? Oh yeah, I did see one. He's going to trick you the Wall first turn. So what onto Dario? What can he set up? He's also a pretty good setup. It's lacking the icons at the moment to defend that wall. But with a Shadow Tower Mason, that's not normally a bad thing. So you've got another Swarm Brother played out. So gets out. I can't remember which one that is. Oh, that's that is the brain kick in. I'm having a complete brain fart. The Abandoned Stronghold, I want to say. The one where you kneel it and the builders get +1 strength for every builder on the board. And he gets a builder at the wall. So lots and lots and lots of power icons. Another Shadow Tower Mason. And George is going to kneel the Stronghold. Only works on defense. Might have held off that myself, but I think what he's probably worried about here is an attachment. Something gets played out, and all of a sudden, and also all those 2 Shadow Tower Masons have got Tricons. And in fact, as I talked about, here's the next attachment reduced, and we have a Swarm Brother given a military icon, so that is now the 3rd attachment or location, so those Shadow Tower Masons are turned on. So
any actions at the start of the count.
on to George for the first challenge. I think that also could be because he wants to use the Intimidator Victarion. That would make sense here. So when we see a big military coming in from the Victarion and the Birdmen. But with the wall out, there's a lot of strength there to oppose that. So military comes in just from the Burnmen. Interesting. Obviously no claim on this, but George is just trying to get him to defend with any character. So it's fully blocked. George doesn't really care, doesn't try, no tricks there. With the wall out, obviously that's character strength 3 and the attachment. So that's what bumps him up. Probably potentially a power now for Victarion, but he's going to struggle to get that through. So power coming into Dario defends it for 2.
So I'll win by 3. The claim will take renown. Don't intimidate Mason. So when I win as the attacker, choose an ill character of strength by which I won the challenge.
So Dario here, who's not a regular Thrones player, just having to just double check what Intimidate does. We have Intrigue from Tywin.
So I will win that. So no reactions, claim of 1.
So we have a Nightmares pulled.
Trigger Pillage and Interrupt to look at the top 2 cards of the deck.
So Pillage is done, and the Interrupt to look at the top 2 cards.
But yes, Tyrant has a
And I believe he got rid of the Craven. The Craven a Practice Blade, and I think you get rid of the Craven there. And George does let the wall go off, even though he has a probably, I assume that George let the wall go off because he wants power on the house card to go and steal. While they get ready for the next turn, I'd just like to say that I have intended to start a Patreon. If anyone would like to support the channel, I have had a few people ask how to support the channel. It is if you go to Patreon and look up KONBW at the end of, or just type in Night of the Backwater Patreon. There will be a link in the description below. I'm not going to put any content behind it, but there will be bonuses for Patreon subscribers on polls for live stream decks and other things like that. And if anyone that has got any money to help the channel so I can upgrade my equipment, help with some travel costs, try and go to some big events to bring you the footage, it would be very much appreciated. But please, only do it if you can, and don't feel it's a so if you can't afford it, then please don't. Okay, being very British here and do not like asking for things. So we're on to the second plot phase. And also a big shout out to Jason Burns, who is my first Patreon supporter. So thank you very much, Jason. So first off, we've got Counting Coppers into Time of Plenty. So George has drawn 6 cards, so hopefully he should see some nice combos here. Dario has put out Haunted Forest, which he basically got out for free with the 2 Sworn Brothers. Oh no, yeah, we've got out for free. Now, I should say this is pre-Oberyn's Revenge. I think Oberyn's Revenge came out on the Thursday before this, so it wasn't legal. And that's going to make a big difference to the meta going forwards. It's a very, very good card. Good pack. Flea Bottom is going to be meta changing, and it's I'd really like to see some events that are using it. Craven gets put on Victarion. Events using it because we've got Nationals in 3 weeks, and I'm not looking forward to having to get to grips a whole new meta. We have a milk put on the Lordsport Shipwright. That is interesting. Obviously feels that's the biggest threat right now. That's a really interesting choice. And Isla Raven's put out only sitting on 1 gold. Yeah. Also, guys, coming up this weekend, as this video gets put up, we have Trial by Combat, which is the tournament I'm running in Bournemouth, with the lovely artwork you might have seen with Oberyn and Oberyn's having won against the Mountain. So do keep an eye out for that. There will be a stream, and also there will be a chance to win the playmat. I've got 1 extra playmat, which is going to be available as a prize for someone. So do keep an eye out. So George plays out Rose Road and then puts a copy of Polliver on the board with a dupe. Dario, as funny enough, shocking, no one ever, he has passed challenges. So interesting to see if George can get much off this turn. Dario's basically got power. He doesn't lose any power challenges here. So we have a military coming in from the Burnmen. Just probably that's going to be easy to block. And that is blocked by the Swan Brother. George having a think here. This is a tough one. So we have an intrigue for 4 with Polliver and the Lordsport Shipwright. So there's 2 intrigue icons in there, unless Dolores Head's in hand, with the 2 Shadow Tower Masons. So whether they both defend, or if he lets this go through. No, he's going to use. Oh, he's going to. Oh, didn't have to. He's going to use the. Yeah, going to use the Banner Stronghold. Such a powerful card in this deck.
Okay, I know this was 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
We have power coming in from Tywin, which should be easily defended. And which is fully defended. So the wall is going to trigger.
I will pass.
So the wall triggers, and I believe, and George has lost dominance by 1. And Isla Raven is going to shuffle, I believe, the Kraken back in. I do apologize, just missed out on the discard pile there. I was at the complete opposite end of the room for the first round, so trying to keep my opponent happy and set up the camera didn't quite work out, so I do apologise. Into the 3rd plot phase. So George, George's got to take on one of the best decks in the meta currently. He's also doing a deck that he would have only seen 10 minutes before the start of the event, with the older swap, which nine players took part in, and they all swap decks at random. We have confiscation into counting coppers. So the Kraken is taken, and what's the odds on it immediately being put, Kraken being put back on? So I think George chose Dario to go first. Getting 3 gold there, not the most, obviously. Does get an extra 1 because I believe it's the East. Is it Eastwatch Carpenter? The one which for every 2 Night's Watch locations gain an extra gold. So he obviously builder traded. So you got to think George got to be thinking about valoring at some point soon. Needs to keep that board small. The Shadow Tower put out, which is not so a card George particularly wants to see. So you can't do that throwaway challenge now with the Birdman at the beginning. George's got a lot of options there. You got to think there's got to be something he's got to be able to play out. Can you help him here? You've got the Watcher's needs. Look at the top 11 cards. And naming builders, funnily enough. And gets a Grizzled Miner and the I can't remember which one it is, the name of it exactly. Which one is it? The one which allows you to kneel 2 builders to search for an attachment.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine.
The Castle Black Mason. So the Grizzled Miner comes out for the extortionate value of 1 gold. And fair on, Dario's doing all this without having seen the without having seen Brandon's gift. Absolutely bonkers. So George plays out a King's Road, which immediately gets popped for Astra Greyjoy. Her stealth can hopefully disappear, with immediately gets duped. And Lord Port Shipwright, and he's going to kneel. It's a hard one now. And goes for the abandoned stronghold, and he's going to sit on 1 gold. Sorry, I think I did miss the messenger even while I was looking up the name of the card. Oh, and I also missed the fact that the Grizzled Miner has a weapon. It has the practice blade. So yeah, this is looking pretty dire for George now. The board has hit critical mass. He's got to be valoring soon. He's absolutely got to be valoring. So we have an intrigue for, I believe, 7. So barring a Dolores Ed here, George physically can't defend this. He can only get to 7. So you probably set the Haunted Forest nil this, don't you? To take on the Haunted Forest. Dario is going to block.
So I will win. The forest will nil.
The Haunted Forest is knelt.
No other reactions. Claim is 1.
So George getting practice played out of hand.
Interact with pillage.
So first pillage with the interrupt. Brandon's gift and milk. Neither of those are particularly good for George right now.
Choice, but yes. And then I'll pillage with Oliver.
Oliver pillages to see the Brandon's gift, I think, and that's the economy location. The was it the underground vault? So there's currently 3 military icons standing. So can George get a military through? Probably, but you won't be able to get a power through as well, I wouldn't have thought. So you could do a military of. If you did a military with Asher and Victarion stealthing the Grizzled Miner, but probably has to leave Victarion standing, so there's a power icon which can't possibly get through. George is speaking for his options.
I'll pass. Any kinds.
Interrupt,
Take through that.
which is
Just cancel. When I control a unique mana character, when you effectively the triggered character location or attack ability to initiate and cancel. So you'll get done.
So treachery is used to stop the wall from triggering, but unfortunately George can't stop Dom. And Isla Raven's used to shuffle. I would assume one of the attachments back in at this point. Or it might be Brandon's gift. Might be a bit late for Brandon's gift though to worry about it now because most of the characters are out already.
No worries.
And then what he needs to do is Isla Ravens. I think George needs to play that Valet you can see there. So into the fourth plot phase. So George might be looking at trading. I think he just needs to Valet. He needs to get rid of that board. Dario's hand isn't that big. It's fairly big, but it's not that big. And we have marched into the wall into for the watch.
So each of us here will just discard a character. I'll put you first. Your choice of who to march.
oh yeah. Just start it.
And then we'll draw.
And sorry, the bird members choose to be marched there. Sorry, and the one of the Swarm Brothers. So it's going to be even tough for George to get through this turn. For the watch is a really good plot. It's I put it back into my Rains deck, Night's Watch Rains deck. That and Fire It Burns together as a bit of a bonkers combo. So the Castle Black. The Castle Black Masons put out. Dario then puts out the Underground Vault. Was only going to give himself 1 gold, but George very kindly pointed out that actually he gets 2 because the 2 gold and the Road count towards that econ. We have the 3rd Shower Tower Mason played out.
Some things are done. Ask at that point.
So George can get out of his 6 gold. So an Ocean Road played out, which is going to be immediately knelt for King of Sultan Rock. So every time an attachment location is discarded with pillage, he gains a power. Now, see, that doesn't mean him doing it. That means every time that you, as someone in your force, someone in your force gets attached pillage, you gain a power. Now, George has not spent all his gold here, which is why I think he's either got the Hound in hand, because he's got, 4 gold there. And an Iron Mines play out, sorry. Or this is it. This is the turn where he is going to Valor. So, shocking no one again. Daryl once again past challenges. Don't you just love these Night's Watch decks? So, this turn, George can't win that first challenge. I think he might have to suck it up and just do the military. George is really lacking. He's going to do the intrigue and let the Shadow Tower trigger. Maybe he's hoping his opponent forgets he has Shadow Tower. No, he does not. Shadow Tower and Victorian. And that's now the intrigue gone, I think. Yeah. Obviously, that does also give Victorian pillage, so I should say. So, Up to 3 pillager characters now. With Tywin's reaction, he should be seeing lots of cards of that.
Military.
Valor. Yeah. So he's going to return to my hand as per his ability. Yeah. I'm going to raise the carry from the sea. Discard. Save.
George having a big thinking. He got to feel it's between a rock and a hard place at this point. Oh, sorry, so there was a military going in. And he's got to Valor next, surely. If Valor's got to be coming.
I'll pass.
And Dario gets the wall. George has stopped doing challenges. And Dario gets dominance. So currently at 9-1 to Dario. Now, I can't remember I said at the beginning of this video, but I did take a second camera to try and get 2 games each round. Unfortunately, it didn't record properly, so we need to get 1 game around.
There might be a lot of shuffling and cutting now.
Yep.
You give me exactly 10.
And Dario's triggering all his Castle Black Mason triggers to get all the attachments and war locations he's ever going to need. And so I think George has missed his chance to Valor. I really do. I think of Valor last turn, he probably got an unopposed off, maybe. Got another Kraken coming in, so Victarion probably isn't attacking, or maybe Asher. And he's going to trigger it again.
I love builders.
It's a very interactive deck, honest. You can have a go at Darren for I couldn't build it. No pun intended there.
Dario just saying that builders are loves it. It's a very interactive deck as a joke, and George gave a not so committal. So we have Valor finally into confiscation.
The Duke save characters in this, do they?
So I think it's a turn too late personally, but so George is going to go first.
Trigger your plot first.
It's going to trigger his plot first. And it's going to get rid of this King of Sultan Rock.
Then I will interrupt so Victarion bodyguard save.
Bodyguard saves Victarion. Bodyguard saves Tywin. Iron Mine saves Asher. So George is getting ready for the next Valor here, which is very sensible. The 2 Lordsport shipwrights are going to die, but then the milks are also going to disappear. And George got way back in now because the board state on the other side is empty. There's minimal economy, which is not going to trigger properly this turn. So we're currently looking at 5 gold here for Dario. This could be the turn George kind of starts putting some pressure on. 4 or 5 gold if you include the Ocean Road. Oh, so we do know there is a Kraken coming, so that is an issue. We've got Nightmares, we've got the Mountain in hand. And George is not playing anything out. Interesting. So we have 4 gold so far for Dario. What can he get out? We have 5 gold now for Dario.
I can't discard attack if it's far fast enough for him to not Raven him back in.
George is saying that you can't discard the attachments fast enough for them not to get Ravened back in. Either Ravens back in.
2.
Are they dead or killed? Sorry,
Oh yes, they are dead.
Oh, so Dario making a mistake there, which obviously some players who don't play the game that often do, where
But the attachments do come
he's got rid of all his attachments and also put the dead characters in the discard pile. So it's.
you can't stuff a Dead back in.
I mean, dumb. There's no point.
So yeah, the watch has needs. Just look at the top 7 cards for builders.
How many cards?
So we see 3 there. We've got 2 more Castback Masons and Howder. I'm sure George is absolutely amazed to see. So yes, Howder, awesome. Now those ridiculously hard challenges to get through get even that much harder. So George, what do you do here, George? And Brandon's gift is played out. We get the Dupon Brandon's gift and the Old Forest Hunter. So probably wouldn't have got rid of the dupe to get rid of the dupe because that's the card you got rid of to gain gold. So you're going to assume the wall is going down this turn. Unless no, the wall should be going down this turn. So I think you do military stealth with Asher, you do power with Tywin, and then you do intrigue with Pulliver, because that way, if there is any nasty surprises with what's his chops break again, Dolores Edge, you can still win. So it's going doing the intrigue. Interesting. Okay, there is no. Has he forgotten his unopposed power? I think he's oh no, he's not unopposed. That's why. And I can't quite see what's pillaged. So you power himself in the hunter, which goes unopposed. Oh, sorry, I see why I did it, and that's why George is a bit cleverer than I am. He did it to nil the Haunted Forest so Asher could stand. Interesting not being Pulliver into this for more pillage though. It's composed.
Think on Atkins before you leave challenges.
George thinks there's a challenge he wants to do. So you've got a Burnman in hand. He's going to ambush the Burnman in.
Who's the first player in that one?
Sorry?
Who's the first player in that one?
You're the first player. I was the first player. You have telling us. Sorry.
So George is forgetting actually he was he was first.
I don't think it was much going to give.
And so his challenger went, yeah.
You just give me a pillage trigger or an hour.
But obviously there's no real point doing the challenge. All you can do is give Victarion a renowned. So next turn, are we going to get, I think there's going to be Famine now. And it's trading with the Pentoshi into close call. So George giving him gold. So why am I gone Famine? I don't know. I think he's just playing with his got in card. And we know he's got the Mountain in hand. So see, George has slowed down the right here. He's back up to, it's 9-3.
This is your fault.
And George is just talking to Whammer there, saying this is all his fault.
One, two,
I keep getting Raven back.
3, 4, 5,
That's great. And then you drop Raven. Just gets him back.
So it's going to be, let's see, Dario's going to have 10 gold, plus any gold he gets. He's already got 1 gold from the Forest Hunt, so he can get another one. So he could have done that in the plot phase, another one in the draw phase, and one in marshalling. So Dario could have a fistful of cards here, gold here. Get that board state back up and running. Brandon's gift to reduce the cost of everything after Builder comes out. This could be a pretty good turn for him.
Neil, that gained 2 gold.
Yep.
3 for this. React.
So how does board out for 2 gold? Triggers the gift.
That costs 1.
Making the reducing the cost of the underground vault to get 2 more gold. And 2 Shadow Tower Masons, 2 Castle Black Masons brought out. And looks like an attachment, yet Craven on Asher. Stopping that stealth. Still lacking an intrigue icon. And only 1 military icon. So not looking too desperate for George yet. And there we go, there's a practice blade. But still lacking that intrigue icon. So George does have an out. Now, the 3rd road race put into play. So money's not going to be a problem for George. So King of Sultan Rock has played back out. And we'll have the pillage character of the mountain, so Gregor Clegane. And Maester Windermere for some nice stealth. And George passes. So, the question is now, does Dario play duel? Because that could be his last plot here. And if he has, Victarion or all the mountains are going to die.
My original, I went back to what I know. Well, I attempt to know. Say again? Dance with what brung you? Yeah. No economy.
So intrigue coming in.
Can't do anything.
Action.
He's got a Nightmares the Haunted Forest, so this is unopposed.
It's blank. Okay. So get unopposed.
Unopposed. Let's put.
Claim 1.
And looked like that was an attachment. Can't quite tell which one. George was too quick. So George has got the wall down this turn. Can he get any other challenges off? So I think you probably do military now with the mountain, and probably Polliver. Do the intrigue, do the pillage of Polliver first to just make sure you definitely stack that deck. Yeah.
Military for 15?
Military 15.
15.
Yeah.
It's one card in hand. Is that a put to the sword?
You can't use anyway.
Is that a put to the sword? You kill one of those power icons. The abandoned stronghold currently gets +3. So George,
Which I believe is exactly what you can make.
oh, because you actually that's exactly what you can make. No.
+3. Neil.
It's not a nice walk location.
3, 4, 5. That's right. I lost count now. 5, 8. It is 15, so it's high, won't it?
So Dario having a bit of a take back there.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 I count.
Yes. I was thinking you weren't going to nail the Shadow Tower, but yes.
So because he nails the Shadow Tower, he can get to 16, which does win the challenge. But can't use Shadow Tower to defend. But the problem is now Maester Windermere now can't win a challenge by himself.
They will take dominance. No power. I go dominance.
And George gets dominance because of all the Cravens stopping the counter movement getting involved. And Dario once again going to shuffle what sort of things in. So unfortunately, yeah, George did not count on the Shadow Tower being knelt for defence. Which ended up just costing him. Those Cravens are really costing George here. And just needing another 2 builders to have a look for more cards, for more attachments or locations. And another Craven. Well, at least on the upside, at least you know where they all are now.
I'm only going to have one card in hand, it might not be that.
And George is stumbling for that. Where's that weapons at the door when I need it? Okay, so we're on to the 7th turn. And this is going to be a famine, I believe, I saw, for George. And it'd be interesting, this is dual.
Yeah, I've been given Gabby's pillage track. Great. I'm loving it.
That is summons. It wasn't famine. Sorry, I do apologise. It looked like the famine art, and it is dual. I was right, and I was worried about that.
I'll show you your plots. We'll kill
So the mountain is going to die. The Victorian is knelt. I might be tempted to kill Victorian, unless the only reason I could think of you wouldn't is because you're thinking about Valoring again next turn. And that could be George's, but only out at this point as we enter top 7. Does he get anything good off the summons? Takes the Tickler. So he says, it's quite cool. Now I would say it's not quite cool when he ends up taking the wall off the top of the deck and you discard the wall. Then it's not cool. So George is going first here, so puts out a reducer. And looks like that's on the ticker, obviously. That's what Dario can put out. So all the money in the world. Build at the wall. Triggers the wall. Triggers the builder. Plays another. The watch has needs to look for builders.
Playing a lesser played format of Magnetic Dragon. I'd love to.
Let's shuffle. A lot of shuffling of the deck in this. This deck's definitely a lot better to play on the Iron Throne. It does all the shuffling for you. Just me just trying to reposition the camera to try and see the other side of the board, but don't really do a good job. Kraken goes on Tywin. Do apologize the camera moves. Also, I think there's an Eastwash Carpenter played out as well. This is looking pretty damning now for George.
Playing builders, it's not cool.
That's a lot of Cravens.
Yep. I pillaged 3 of them.
Where are your fishing nets?
Blame Gabby.
And George now being asked a lot about the deck, so Darren K there said there's a lot of Cravens, and as George is right putting out, he has already got rid of 3 of them, and yet he's still got 3 on the board. And another Stefan asked where are the fishing nets, and that probably would be helping. Now we've got an entry coming in from Pulliver.
Nope. Any reactions?
Go ahead. Take claim. Claim. Pillage.
So no cards to take for that. So pillage. Oh, George, that's a good tough decision.
Trigger Pulliver.
So triggers must have been a character. Pulliver then gets rid of 2 gold. George passes.
I think you get both wall and dom. Yep. Just do some quick math.
George is checking his 1 dom.
20,
George wins. So George loses dom. The tickler and interrupts the Tywin. Gets rid of the wall. So Isle of Ravens shuffles the wall back in.
Go ahead.
And George is cursing the Isle of Ravens as the fact that Isle of Ravens overmade. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 11 cards left in the deck by the looks of it, so the odds are we're going to see a copy of the wall now.
Just trying to get. Oh fuck! I missed it. Sorry, trigger. I wasn't a pillage trigger. It's fine. I don't think there's actually a legal trigger here.
So now the issue here is for George, he can't Valor now, because if he Valors, the only characters he's got left around have all got Cravens on them. Rock and a hard place, I believe they call it. So it's like, looks like that's a copy of Castle Black. So, didn't see the wall in the... didn't actually see the wall in the first one. Had to go for the second one, at which point he sees the wall. So the Castle Black and the wall's out.
Yeah, I'm not really surprised. At least I got to say I did it.
You tickled the entire wall.
So, Dario stands. We're back through the plots, so... Dario needs 3 more power to win this. George can't Valor. Because, as I say, it would just go wrong unless he's got a load of characters in hand so he can get unopposed. And we have counting coppers into counting coppers. So George chooses Dario to go first. And they both draw 5 cards. So he gets 2 gold from... He gets 2 gold from 3 gold from the Eastwatch Carpenter. And then he's about to nil both of the underground vaults for another 4 gold. So on a counting coppers turn, he is getting 9 gold. That's Tyrell levels of money. The wall is played out with a dupe, just in case. Just gets tickled again. Well, I can't get tickled now, obviously, because Little Copy's out of the deck. So Grizzlebiter comes out for ridiculous amounts. So Eastwatch Carpenter comes out. That's Castle Black, by the looks of it. And a Messenger Raven. So that's a pretty impressive board that George is up against. We have an Iron Mines. Maybe if he survives this round, he can Valor. George not doing too bad with 5 gold, and obviously the Ocean Road to nil, so expect to be 6 gold for this turn. 7 if he sees a Lanni character. But I think George looks at it is stumbling for options. George is asking how many cards are left. I think he's considered Nightmares in hand. So I wonder if he can stall it for a turn and get him to deck himself.
No attack.
So Intrigue from Polivar. And he's got Nightmares in the Forest, so the wall is knelt. So Pillage. So Haunted Forest, which gets the King of Sultan Rock to trigger.
Pass. Pretty sure you win dominance.
George then passes, and dominance goes to Darius. He's up to 13 power. So the Tickler's going to nil after the Messenger even draws. Ooh, anything interesting? I think he's got to take the Grizzle Miner because he can discard that Grizzle Miner and play. He's going to go for the Milk. Interesting. And that's done. So here comes all the searching for everything in the deck.
Let's try and do this in time to get to the next round.
10 cards left in deck. Come on, you can do it.
Yes.
You can pillage the deck.
Can I encourage you to... Yeah.
Okay.
How many copies of Lita in that?
No idea. Honestly, I don't know.
One, none?
I do it 3 times and that's 4, so 1 I'm not.
That's where you hope George being 1 copy of Loot, but obviously I think that it's a loyal card.
Do you want me to cut before I do it again? Because
It seems pretty pointless.
Say that, cut it, damn it. You can cheat.
I mean, just take 2 more things if you want them.
Can we break string 100 so you've got everyone's target share a view
So So after all that, sorry, oh no, Loot is not loyal. So George, please tell me you're playing a copy of Loot. You do, of course, have to win unopposed. Hope he has a load of gold. So George looks at plots. Confiscation probably is the best play right now. Get rid of one of those Cravens. He's got any chance of taking this? I think George's on 8 power as well, so he's not like he's ridiculously far behind. If he can get a good turn going, he could really close this up. But it just is not looking great. So we have time aplenty into, which is quite sensible for the watch. That is a very sensible plot to flip at this point. George going first, both draw 3 cards. And unfortunately, I think some of the pillage cards have turned up a bit too late here. It looks like Sir Gregor's Marauders are in there now. Oh, I think George in fact is making him draw another card. I believe he's down to about 4 cards in his deck now. So there's a Science's Crew on there, you whack on all the gold, make them straight ridiculous. And it is Silence's Crew! Is he going to bestow them at all? And he is bestowing them for free, looks like. Oh no, decides not to. Sir Gregor's Marauders?
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
You might be able to hear George say, it's not going to happen, and I just say in the background, no, to him in the background, not with that actually, it's not.
The problem is with Shadow Tower, which I can't get past. I haven't drawn the events.
Oh, they have a Blackwind's Crew, so all the pillagers down the board. If you get the challenge off, he could win this. But I think without the Intimidate, without the 3 big characters all having been cravened here, I think it's a bit of an ask.
He's on like 3 Mason triggers a turn, so yeah, we've got 3 cravens at 2, which I've previously pillaged.
And time has been called on the round, so this is it. George is saying no, it's fine, get this game over at the end of this round, and it's looking pretty bleak.
It's true. It gets fewer games, so it literally can't go that badly.
So Dario collecting all the money. So build Swarm Brothers brought out. And then brings out another Banner Stronghold, I believe. And the challenge map's now getting ridiculous for George. Critical Miner. I just think this. All I can think is that Simpsons episode with the stop. He's already dead.
That happened. So angry.
The angry. You got a Raven.
Who knows?
Yes,
I think he'll be alright. He'll be alright.
fully aware of that.
Just double checking. That is a question.
I haven't played a limited this turn yet.
He's playing out an Underground Vault, needing it for 2 more.
Okay, let's just do some maths for a minute, just to double check.
I don't think George can physically win a challenge unless Dario makes a mistake, especially the 3 Banner Strongholds.
That's among the things I'm counting.
The Banner Strongholds currently giving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 strength victory each to a challenge.
Oh, that answers that one, because I didn't know.
Maybe 8? Yes, 8. I think 8 extra strength.
Okay, so all I have to do is get up to 39 strength. And then I can prevent this Shadow Tower trigger on the pointless first challenge. And then I can possibly win another challenge. I don't think I can do it.
And George concedes, which I think is fair at that point. So thanks for coming and watching the game, guys. That's the first round. We have 4 more games from the Swiss. And thanks for watching. Until next time, it's been emotional.